the stories of struggle of Uyghur and Tibetans are not just ethnic minority issue. It's not just the story of human rights. It's not limited to internal affair of China. We continue to remain the people of invaded nation. So we're here today to tell the stories how Tibetans, Uyghurs, and other Chinese are affected by the founding of people of China. So with that, I would like to invite my colleague, Chair of Canada Tibet Committee, Samphe, Lhalungpa, to share some words. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bonjour to all who are here, and other deputies I haven't met, but thank you for your coming, and thank you to Garnet and Samir. Today, I'd like to take the opportunity of this collective struggle. When the Chinese are celebrating 74 years of the Communist Party, more rightly, there are 5 original lies that they have told in the narrative. And narratives are very important because narratives drive how they position this with their people and with people outside. So, if you look at the flag, you will see 1 big star and 4 small stars. This comes from the Sun Yat-sen time, when he said that the Chinese nation is a Han nation is like fists of one hand. The palm is, of course, the majority, and all the fingers are, Uyghurs, Tibetans, Mongols, I think Manchus also, there. Well, we completely reject that. It's a highly imperialistic way of looking at the world and giving us subsidiary things. So, and it's still in the flag. It's in the thinking, yeah? When they came to Tibet, they said they came to live, what's that tremendous word? Reunite us.
Liberate us.
Reunite. That's the second is No, there's no reunification. Even Chinese historians will tell you, our links with the emperors of China were in 2 critical times, when there were non-Han dynasties. One is the Yun dynasty and one is the Manchus. With them, we had a different equation because we had other linkages, spiritual linkages and things with them. But with the Han, no. In fact, we allied in the 8th century with the Turkic peoples, with others, to fight the Tang emperor. Tang Empire of this time was a superpower. And we fought in several battles in Central Asia. There's a place called Manas. There was a big battle there. So our emperors, that time we had the great kings of Tibet. So this is something very important, that they say we're reuniting with the motherland, and it's historical nonsense. And even some of the historians accept that it's not as clear-cut. So the danger of that is they make other people believe it, even well-meaning people who then say to us, oh, well, they bring some terrible things, but you're really part of that. And it's absolutely nonsense. And I think the Uyghurs rejected, we rejected, we're root and branch. If anything, if any country can claim that, it should be the Mongolians, because our Dalai Lama is a Mongolian term. Gusri Khan, then of the Mongols, gave it. Later, we had other linkages, and here is why the Chinese Empire was very interested in the Dalai Lamas fully liberating, okay? So October 1950, 40,000 soldiers of the PLA from Southwest Military Group crossed the Dichu River in October 6 or 7. 40,000. Is that peaceful liberation? 40,000 soldiers against a country where we had a tiny army, Obviously we resisted, but it, didn't work. Incidentally, one of the planners of that expedition was Deng Xiaoping, who was then the commissar of the Southwest Military Region. So these are important things to bear in mind, I think, yeah? Then when they came, they said, you are one of the many nationalities of China. And, their nationality policy, but it was also very much based in Maoist terms, in class terms. So they came to liberate the serfs. You can read anything, and this is the item I had a lot of problems with as an undergraduate student in a very left-leaning universities in Europe, that they said, oh, they came to liberate the serfs, yeah? And so that was the story. The interesting thing now is the narrative has changed. Now to be Tibetan is the problem. Just to be Uyghur or Tibetan, by our very existence, were a complication for the Communist Party. Just yesterday, Xi Jinping told Tibetans, we should now take our Buddhism through Sinic routes. Think about that. Our Buddhism came from India, Nalanda, and for centuries we refined it. How can a so-called Marxist party, based on a German philosophy, tell us Buddhists what kind of Buddhists we should be? I mean, it beggars the imagination. And the audacity of that ask shows you what these guys are willing to do to us. And they're doing it. Believe me, they are day to day unpacking us, unpacking our religion. You know, the assault on the religion, there's the assault on the language, religion, culture. So now the crime is just to be Tibetan. And part of that comes to language. It's the same for the Uyghurs and us. They want us now to be Sinic. Yeah? So it's a massive project. It's not a simple thing they're doing in the corner. This is the lodestone, it's the foundation stone of Xi Jinping's vision for the world. And unfortunately, it's. Then the other thing, the other lie is that we have brought civilization and development to Tibet. And grant you, Tibet, when we were materially not as well off, technologically. You know. But I do remind people that in 1913, the Dalai Lama in Tibet banned capital punishment. The Chinese are still murdering people at a fantastic rate. They tell us we're uncivilized. Yeah? Neither the Uyghurs nor the Tibetans, we ever bound the women's feet in our culture. Never. Now this is, so that whole non-civilized discourse is highly problematic. Yeah? So we also need to push back against that. So this is a context, in which we have to deal with this. Look into the Chinese studies themselves. Okay, Tibet is one of the poorest parts of the PRC at the moment. So with all that development, and a lot of the development is not for Chinese people. The attack on lifestyle. So I think, and the last thing I want to say is, Tibet's not just a defensive platform. It is the foundation stone of outward, the whole Belt and Road Initiative. Look at the map. If you see that there are two ports in the south that they're developing, one in Pakistan, Gwadar, and one they're looking for in the Bay of Bengal. It's an entrepot for them to access the oceans, from the southern coast and from us. And so the forward policy you're seeing in India now, where they're building fortified villages right on the border. So these are actually live button issues, like Khalid said. It's not just about us Tibetans and Uyghurs being harassed. This is a colossal, world-changing project that's going on, and the foundations of the project are rotten. Thank you.